Week 6 of the 10th season of the GBA is finally here, and Playmore is taking on the terrifying San Diego Snugglers. Tyler, we've been on a bit of a hot streak, and I'm excited to be in the booth with you.
I'm super excited to get this match underway, but I can't help but wonder, John, how it's going to take place when our coach, for some reason, is in the booth with us. Ben, what are you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going? So it turns out when we got that phone call from Bubby last week, he wasn't happy when I told him I didn't want to play him. So Bubby decided to bench me, and our assistant coach John Jr. is going to be playing instead. So it's Bubby's call. I'm not going to fight back any more than I already did.
I didn't know that Bubby had that much power in the organization, but honestly, it makes sense. So let's throw it over to John Jr. and see what team he has cooked up for this week.
All right, boys, if you don't know who I am, what I am, or what I do, I am John Jr., normally the coach of your Portland Nightshaders, but today I'm your coach of Play More. The first Pokemon this week is going to be Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon puts on so much offensive pressure against Kurt. There are not too many Dark Resist aside from Klefki and Iron Jugulis, both of which we have many different ways to deal with. Our next Pokemon is going to be Bubby. Bubby is going to be here to pretty much guaranteed check the Palafin. We're going to be thick fat with leftovers, protect, leech seed, recover, and apple acid. I'm not even sure if Palafin comes in this matchup. I'll be honest, this is a very poor Palafin matchup. If it does, it's probably some form of manual rain. Our next Pokemon is going to be Kilowattrel, a fan favorite on this channel, and it's going to be a very good pivot. We're Magnet this week because the electric resists are far and few between. Toadscruel is the electric resist, and obviously it does not appreciate taking an air slash. Our fourth Pokemon is going to be an unorthodox Torkoal with a Heat Rock because we really value Sun a whole lot in this matchup. And then we're going to be Stealth Rock, Shell Smash, Flare Blitz, and Clear Smog. Next up, we're going to have Shimmy, the Glamora, and we're going to be a spinning set this week. Klefki would otherwise be pretty difficult for our team to deal with and very hard to spin on, but obviously we do have the combination of Torkoal plus Glamora. Mortal Spin is almost impossible for our opponent to switch into and block. Klefki doesn't want to block it, so pretty much no Pokemon can block our Mortal Spin. And then lastly is Hisuian Samurott. So we have Fish in this last slot. We're going to be Encore specifically for a slower Annihilate. Sword Stance to potentially take advantage of that. Ceaseless Edge to take advantage of poor hazard removal, as well as Aqua Cutter in the last slot to do a lot of damage.
Big thank you to our assistant coach, John Jr., who is going to put up his POV of this battle on his channel. Link in the description, so watch it once we're done here. But, boys, before we get there, let's take a look at the teams that we've got.
Ooh.
We got Bubby.
Well, that's all that matters.
That's all we need. Mark it down as a W.
Is that no Annihilate?
That is no Annihilate. Their only Terra Captain they opted not to bring.
And no Muck, so we can get Toxic Spikes up and just obliterates, well, 3 of their Pokemon. That's a Steel type, a Flying type, and a Levitate user. So I understand why no Muck, but Coach Ben, why don't we see Annihilate, and why should we still be terrified of this matchup? I was a little too laser focused on that guy, apparently.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I have no idea why I didn't bring Annihilate. I did mocks with JJ just so he could prepare for this game, just so Bubby wouldn't get too mad at me anymore. And I brought Annihilate in my mocks battles. Terra Fairy is just really solid versus our team with Fairy plus Fighting, and it has amazing utility. So I'm really curious why he opted against it. He's got to have just a very set game plan.
I've never been so excited to start a battle. This is truly a first for Play More. Not only do we have the incredible, the illustrious coach in the booth with us, but we're starting this battle off hot with everyone's favorite Pokemon, Bubby. What's do you got, Bubby? What are we going to see on the opponent's side? This lead is interesting. The last few weeks, Ben, you've let us know what your plans were, and they went according to that plan every single time. But look at this. What a matchup for Bubby. Wow.
This feels pretty perfect, right?
It's absolutely perfect. Because also, no Toadscruel on the other side, so we can Leech Seed willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm. Bubby is going to be very huge this game between walling the Rotom Wash, the Arcanine, and the Palafin. He's just going to go to town this game. And Leech Seed is just always going to be free, like you mentioned.
I mean, this is just a dream start. That Volt Switch did -5 damage, and as long as we don't miss, knock on wood, I mean, they're in a bad spot. We can either stall a little bit or switch into the appropriate Pokemon and get some damage on. You don't want to keep that Leech Seed. Now, what Pokemon do you think is going to threaten Bubby the most this game? Jug or the Keys? Interesting.
It's definitely tough for Bubby to be able to hit this Klefki for sure. But I mean, we're able to get a lot of Leech Seed chip, and Play Rough or Dazzling Gleam from this thing's not going to do much. So the biggest threats are for sure Iron Jugulis, and he did have the Cyclizar, correct? So if that's rocking Draco Meteor or something along those lines, then we definitely want to be careful with Bubby there.
This is pretty perfect, as now we can bring in anything for free, basically. I'm not... Well, there is also, I assume, you know, like Thunder Wave or annoying prankster shenanigans, so you don't want to get too crazy with Roaring Moon, but, I mean, Torkoal, free. The Bird, free. Bubby, the GOAT. So this is a pretty interesting spot, as Ben, this is Shell Smash Torkoal, right?
Yep. We Shell Smash Torkoal in order to avoid Gothitelle trapping us, but don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, do you think that the Shell Smash was a little too overeager without the Gothitelle, or is that still something to be excited about? I am very excited for
That's what I would have clicked this move.
I want to see it do damage.
I do love the Stealth Rocks here, as we do have a Rapid Spinner, which we can get rid of hazards without getting rid of the ones that we set up ourselves, which is really nice. They are bringing in Cyclizar, which I'm pretty sure is their hazard removal, if I'm correct. Ben? Yeah.
Yes, it does get Rapid Spin. Cyclizar is a very good utility Pokemon because it does get access to Regenerator. So Knockoff, U-Turn, and Rapid Spin is always like pretty standard on this Pokemon. It can be a menace, but since it's more than likely going to be making contact, I think Lamora is a great switch in here if he opts to do that. And, I mean, we are able to get health back just by clicking Spiky Shield and getting that Black Sludge recovery. But, I mean, if he goes for a knockoff or Rapid Spin right here, well, Toxic Spike would not get up, unfortunately, if he Rapid Spins because of that crappy game mechanic.
That is so weird.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, let's see if he clicks it here, and then I can explain it. Yeah. So you'll see he clicks Rapid Spin here. It gets rid of the Stealth Rocks. You'll see the Toxic Spikes go up, but then it will immediately say that the Toxic Spikes were removed by Rapid Spin. Why? That man is done spinning. He is standing still like a dog looking at the camera.
I'm really glad you ended with that, because it was a laugh I needed, as this is not ideal. Wait a minute. Lady Luck.
That's funny.
Wow.
Mudshot is some very cool tech for sure.
We are going to ignore that happens, but man, oh man, the opponent did not come to play. I know that this was the right Pokemon to bring in on Cyclizar, but especially after seeing that tech, it's very clear that Glamora is not the long-term answer to this Pokemon. So being able to avoid that Mud Shot and get the poison on this thing, stalled a little bit with the Spiky Shield, is incredible. Obviously with the Regenerator, we are going to see this thing again. We know a little bit more about its moveset, which is going to be frustrating trying to get our hazards up, which is a pretty big part of the strategy this week, but pretty good start, all things considered.
Yeah, and even though the Mud Shot was very scary there, I don't think it would have KO'd, even if it's 4 times effective, because more than likely this isn't very offensive invested Cyclizar. It might be, but typically it's really good support. The one pro of seeing that, though, is that it more than likely does not have Knockoff or Draco Meteor. So it has Rapid Spin and Mud Shot, and you always want U-Turn, as we see right there, getting amazing Spiky Shield chip plus extra toxic damage.
U-Turn makes complete sense on this set, but Ben, I'm a little confused of why the opponent would go for that, knowing that it would allow us to get Toxic Spikes up. I kind of feel like they probably should have just made the switch, and at this point, we're able to get some free damage on the Rotom with a crit.
Yeah, that crit's a little unfortunate for them. Let's see if we see leftovers. Of course, see leftovers on Rotom, so we'll be getting that health back a little bit, but that was a lot of damage that Rotom just took.
And we have 2 incredible switch-ins here. We can go into Kilowattrel, our early season MVP, if we want to be a little bit more aggressive, but we also know that Bubby would be the best switch-in. Aggressy is also now a word. I need you guys to confirm that. Tyler, no laughing. No, Ben.
No,
okay.
No. We are an aggressy team. And the Rotom play felt, kind of aggressy to me because I don't know how much it can do, particularly offensively against us with the sun still up. So, no water damage is going to, no water moves are going to do anything. So I expected, again, just another switch immediately as they continue to try and wind away at the sun.
Yeah, one thing you definitely want to do by going Kilowattrel over Bubby there, even though Bubby hard-walled, was trying to get this U-turn momentum now in the favor and get in that banded Roaring Moon while we have the sun up. As you can see, he's going for the U-turn here. I don't know if he'll risk Roaring Moon immediately. I'm very curious to see what he switches into here. I think that Samurott is an extremely safe play, but he just goes right back into Glimmora. Okay.
I mean, Glimmora was able to 1v1 this early on. Ice
There we know the
Spinner.
fourth move.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, Bubby has Thick Fat. This thing's not really strong physically, like terms of speaking, so I'm pretty sure Bubby can wall this as well.
Bubby is just racking up importance on this team, which is music to my ears, boys. But
As
at this
only
point,
Bubby can do it. He's doing it without even being on the field.
Man, that mud shot miss is really looming large at this
Huge.
point, as we are able to just fire off attacks with reckless abandon. Crit? But I mean,
We
this
gave that one
Rotom-
to him.
Yeah, I mean, this thing's not going to last too much longer, which is beautiful for us. Rotom, a Pokemon that is incredibly frustrating from really the beginning of it getting the water typing in the 5th generation, and I love this play. Last time, we went Aggressy into Kilowattrel. This time, we go into Bubby and try to catch them with their pants down on the
Are
wares.
you saying bringing Bubby in is not an aggressy play? Like, this is as aggressy as you can get. This is Bubby we're talking about.
Let's get it straight. Bubby's not aggressy. He's messy because he is the GOAT, okay?
It's a good point, but Ben, how are you feeling seeing screens? Flashbacks?
Since it's not a Cresselia, I could care less. But in terms of screens, I don't think it's that big of a deal because John Jr.'s team settled around here for Playmore is really just about chipping over time with Leech Seed, Poison, Spiky Shield, all of that good stuff. So I don't think it's going to become a huge issue, especially since we saw leftovers. So it's not even a light clay Rotom. So screens are only going to be up for a few turns, not a eternity for what it might feel like.
At this point in the battle, I think it's becoming increasingly clear that someone has to make the first aggressive play to break through. And I think whoever does that is really going to turn the battle on the other head. Right here, we do have the Leech Seed, the Klefki. I think we make an aggressive play. Klefki can be annoying, but it's not going to be able to wall things too fully with the different, investments and coverage we have in these Pokemon to deal with this thing specifically. I'm pretty sure we have coverage on all of our offensive Pokemon to deal with Klefki. And now with Leech Seed, I mean, it's not going to be taking many hits, right?
Correct, and that's why we see an immediate switch.
Oh, danger.
Bubby laughs in the face of danger.
And runs.
This is interesting. Two of the scariest Pokemon, they stared at each other, and the Pokemon that wanted to switch is still in there. Bubby's out of there, ready for the time this guy becomes big and strong, and we get that switch right back.
There we go. Yep.
I had my hands together because I was praying for a Shell Smash.
I was too. All in. Sun, not going to be able to do anything. Oh, it would have been perfect. But I mean, you can't get any better than Bubby.
No,
It's close.
Impossible.
But quite. He just had to make a plan to take on the danger.
It is really interesting. I don't disagree with a single thing that our assistant coach has done in this battle, but I'm a little worried that he has not jumped on any of these opportunities to be a little bit more aggressive. He hasn't needed to be too aggressive. He's still making really, really good plays, but now that Palafin is in its hero form, it can do some damage. And obviously, Bubby's ready to stop the world. I'd really like to see a shell smash, guys.
I'm just really curious how much Torkoal would be doing behind the smash. I want to see it nonetheless, but I don't think he has the problem of making too many offensive plays because he had to be scouting a lot of like what our opponent could be going for. The Rotom could add Will-O-Wisp for like the Roaring Moon. In terms of potentially getting the Roaring Moon here, you'll be watching out for Will-O-Wisp. Klefki could have just went for a straight Fairy attack, which would have been terrible. And Cyclizar, we need to see all 4 moves from that thing. So he's definitely going to be able to start bringing in the banded Pokemon very soon.
And this is a really important Leech Seed. We really got to hit because all, what was it? All-Way Lives or All-Way Lives? I don't know what's going on there with the Arcanine. All-Way Live. That thing's ready to be aggressive. Obviously brought, because of the sun on our side, it can be a little bit more offensive, a little bit more terrifying. And we really are not excited to see this. Now, what can it really do to a Torkoal? I don't know. But that Leech Seed and that Toxic is really, really saving our booty butt kisses.
That's a very wise choice of words there, but as you can see, Protect is just absolutely free. It's not too surprising to see them switch, as we did show the Protect already, but JJ needed to check if that was a Choice Band Arcanine. Seeing something like Outrage or Flare Blitz there in the sun would have been very terrifying, so...
Immaculate Prec this week from John Jr. It's frustratingly good in my position. I want to see a Pokemon go down. I want Bubby.
We want Shell Smashing Torkoal.
Oh, so this is what it sounded like in the booth last week when I didn't bring in Roaring Moon.
Yeah, we have never seen a coach, maybe kind of hesitate to bring in his sweeper. And we've certainly never commented on it. No.
Hey, the important thing is play more. We are an organization all about W's, and it doesn't matter how you get there. Pokemon is not just a game where you can go hyper aggressive every single time, and it doesn't always make sense. If you can exploit any weakness on the other side, you have to go for it. And even if it leads to a slower battle here, if we misstep, the entire game could be over. We gotta play our game, gotta play to our strategy. When it's time to bring in Kilowattrel, when it's time to bring in Roaring Moon and be aggressive, we should be in a really good spot because of the amount of damage we've gotten on their team. But because they have a Regenerator Pokemon in Cyclizar, they're able to continually bring it in over and over and over again and keep it at a pretty good amount of health. A lot of their other Pokemon not affected by the Toxic Spike. So I do understand the play style. I'm getting a little antsy, but this is the time.
This is our moment.
Claim one Torkoal. Give in to your desires.
Torkoal.
There'll still be a third of the speed of Cyclizar if you Shell Smash, but do it.
That is a little unfortunate, though, boys, as the sun fades as Torkoal is brought in with that Heat Rock. Sun is just lasting so much longer, but wait a second!
Yes! That's our assistant coach!
Wow. All right, I'm buttoning up the suit. Things are getting serious. What are you gonna do, Cyclizar? Who do you think you are? He is. Woo! Okay. This is what I've been waiting for. It's an exciting moment.
This also seems absolutely free because this is a fully physical Cyclizar. I mean, it does have Mud Shot, but that's not still going to be doing a lot to Torkoal.
And getting rid of Cyclizar would open this battle up incredibly wide for our team, as this thing has been a nuisance that does nothing.
And that was with a drop in the defense.
Wow.
Let's go, Torkoal.
Come on, Toxic.
Come on, Poison.
There we go, Torkoal.
Yeah, baby.
Wow.
More Shell Smashing Torkoal. Every week.
All right, we have a kill.
That is incredibly exciting, but This is where things get a little bit scary. You don't want to sacrifice a Pokemon with pretty much full health to bring in an offensive threat. But hey, when you lose a Pokemon, it's the perfect opportunity to regain momentum. And this is where we see what Bubby's made of. There's been a lot of talk this week about Bubby and Ben. Were you correct to bench Bubby? Or is John Jr. the man for the job this week?
Hey man, we don't need to talk about that anymore. If he hears this recording, he's gonna remind me, and this could be a whole thing in the locker room. But Bubby's gonna come in here and absolutely wall. Like I said once before, Bubby laughs in the face of danger, especially if danger looks like a very cheesy superhero.
Hey, we're gonna find out how cheesy this superhero is as Bubby is here. Jet Punch does nothing. Come on. Did the opponent not see the most obvious play of all time? Our best Pokemon on the roster being switched in? Come on. But Ben, this thing's going to have Ice Punch, right?
We have Thick Fat, sir. Yeah. We're scared of nothing here. If he goes for Apple Acid and he goes for Ice Punch, that thing's dropping, not Bubby. I can promise you that. That's why he's going for Leech Seed here.
Which is a really, really incredible play. Not only showing the confidence in Bubby that's going to force the switch of the Palafin. Not something I ever expected to say, but know that it's such a threat that it can get that Leech Seed up for free and will down another Pokemon on the opponent's side. Not bringing Toedscruel really, really coming back to bite the opponent as Bubby, that Leech Seed is just so free every single time.
So I will also say that Palafin might have actually been choice banned off that damage. I can't confirm because I'm not looking at a calc, but even though it only did 40 HP, that's a quad resist on a defensive Appleton. So that might have been banded, and that's why he had been forced to switch out there, and we didn't see an Ice-type move.
That's really, really, really good information, and another really, really good prediction. At this point, I just don't see how the opponent breaks through. Oh, there it is.
It's the second miss, and I think they've both been on the Klefki.
Okay, that is actually really interesting because it does force the switch out here. And because of the Flare Blitz damage, well, and I guess the Mudshot damage on the Torkoal, it's not a really easy switching at this point. And Klefki, it's something I've gone against many times, Ben. I know you've gone against it many, many times. It's always a nuisance.
Yeah, if we see it start clicking Thunder Wave, that can be very annoying for our team. I'm honestly a little surprised with Sunaway that JJ's not opting to maybe be a little bit more aggressive and like go hard into our Hisuian Samurott here. Start getting up a few spikes against him now that the Rapid Spinner is officially gone. I mean, it would only affect 2 of their opposing Pokemon, but it really limits them switching on all these Leech Seeds that Bubby is throwing out.
Was that a triple switch? On the opponent?
I mean, third time's the charm, maybe.
Man, that's not something you see often in Pokemon, but it's really, really worked out for them as now they have the perfect matchup here. Sometimes all you need is a single thing to go your way. Hey, that Leech Seed miss, you can't bank on it, but when you get that opportunity, you gotta really strike, especially since they're down in the numbers. I really don't love this spot for us, but Kilowattrel switch on a possible Volt Switch would be huge. That's exactly what he's going to do. I love it.
I can see a very likely aggressive Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp here from our opponent instead of a Hydro Pump, just because we have obviously quite a few answers to that. And if he's able to get a Thunder Wave off on something, especially Bubby, it might limit how often it would be getting off those Leech Seeds. So if we can see that here, we see a Will-O-Wisp. Okay, not surprising.
No, that does make a lot of sense. I was hoping for the aggressive electric move. This is the smart middle ground option. I'm not really too worried about the burn on Kilowattrel, though. I know we brought, Magnet on this thing just to really take advantage of how powerful Thunderbolt will be against this team, especially since we weren't probably going to see Toedscruel, considering our electric type can hit it with Air Slash.
Okay, so a little bit bulkier than I thought. Light Screen will make it a little bit annoying for Kilowattrel, but I mean, it either kills the Rotom potentially here, it might be a roll after leftovers, but it's going to pick up good damage on anything. We always have the chance of the para. We can be aggressive with U-Turn, try and get Roaring Moon in potentially. So we do see a Thunderbolt. Okay.
I'm not expecting to see this kill here, but I am a little nervous about the light screen. The opponent really needs a tiny window just to get things going their way, but they're going to instead stay in and get some chip on the Kilowattrel. I actually really, really like that play on the opponents.
That was more than some chip.
That wasn't even a crit. Wow, I was actually surprised by that damage. He's going to have some investment.
I really, really don't love that play. I didn't think Thunderbolt could kill after that original damage. It didn't really get close, and it felt really unnecessary with Bubby, the greatest Pokemon of all time, sitting in the back waiting just to go nom 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 and eat up anything that Rotom's thrown at it.
Okay, JJ opting to go for more of an aggressive play here and going for the Roost. He will die if he clicks Hydro Pump and lands it again, so as you can see, opts to stay in. Did he overpredict with the Will-O-Wisp on another potential switch? Nope, he just clicks Hydro again. That should kill Kilo. Yep, that's unfortunate.
You know, it's not every day that Kilowattrel can be the leader in kills, and I think that ship has sailed, but I didn't really...
not with Bubby on the team. No, not a chance.
But to be serious, and we talked about it, pre-game, Ben, you threw a little bit of a joke my way that was very fair. I'm always talking about elite speed. I'm a sucker for elite speed, but losing our elite speed this early in the game when it could have been such an easy cleanup Pokemon does worry me a bit. I don't think we're too behind. I don't need to get scared that we're going to lose the game now, but this is something to keep our eye on. We do get to get the kill here, which is nice, and get spikes up, but could bite us in the old tuchus, not having Kilowattrel late game.
Yeah, I'm curious if I feel like JJ might really just want to limited the potential momentum on their side of the field with the hard Volt Switch there. I feel like that's might have what he just thought in the long run, because even though Bubby hard walls it, it was a very obvious play. So the fact he clicked Hydro Pump again was good credit to our opponent. JJ just being a little aggressive because he wanted to keep all the momentum in our favor. A Will-O-Wisp on Bubby truly wouldn't have mattered that much since we do have Recover as well as the Leech Seed, so we're negating our leftovers wouldn't be much. But now we have a Spike on the field. The Palafin's back up. He's just kicking Caesar's Edge again because we have that Chople Berry.
Wow! The prep, the tech, you love to see that. I really, really love that explanation, Ben. That was pretty fantastic to hear, because obviously we do still have the Sun and the Roaring Moon, as it would boost speed this week, if I'm correct?
It should boost speed. Yes, that is correct.
So we will still have the speed advantage at the end of the game if we get to keep the Sun around. So I really love this set up for this exact moment. 2 layers of spikes. Things are getting really scary. And Tyler, I'm starting to feel really, really good about our position in this battle.
It's switched up a lot, and it's, looking back at, last week, it's paid off not to be the most aggressive. Realistically, this is where Ben was able to maneuver himself into the right position, and John, and me especially, because you're a battler, I would have pulled the trigger way too early, and maybe not even a shell smashing Torkoal, but I very often would jump on these opportunities like you're talking about. But it shows how much that patience can pay off to just sit back and wait for the right spot.
Hey, patience is a virtue, and to be fair, I was known for Regenerator, Assault Vest, Reuniclus, so who am I to say you should be aggressive at every moment? All that matters is getting the win and positioning yourself properly. I really, really love how the Hisuian Samurott was used in this position, not only to get a kill on the Rotom Wash, no more light screen for the rest of the battle, no more worry about Will-O-Wisp, but now there's 2 layers of spikes. We have Toxic Spikes up. They do have Palafin in, which isn't my favorite thing to see, but that thing's getting weaker and weaker, and it seems like we may just be able to bring in the old Roaring Moon and either force this thing out or get a kill. And Ben, at this point, is there anything on the opponent's side that wants to take a choice banded move?
I will say even the Klefki that wants to come in does not want to take this, but all of those hazards and that poison on this Palafin, that thing is done for. We might just see a sack here in all honesty. And even though I'm never wrong as the goated head coach of Playmore, I do stand corrected. It would have been, or it should be, attack boosting on this Roaring Moon, even in the Sun, not speed.
Okay. But it doesn't really matter because we see the Arcanine here, which feels pretty perfect unless this is a last-ditch effort to bring in Iron Jugulis to maybe get a little bit of a reverse sweep, a little momentum on that side. Because I don't know, in my mind, sacrificing Arcanine, unless it's to bring in that Iron Jugulis, this feels like not the greatest play for the opponent. This thing could have definitely done some damage, especially with Sun up.
I feel like this was a safe scout purely because of the Intimidate on the Arcanine, see what we wanted to do, if it was set up or if we were banded. So we might see Klefki here, we might see Iron Jugulis. It really just depends on, you know, if they need to get any sort of setup to have that Iron Jugulis sweep us, because that's their only win con right now.
Right.
Other than that, Roaring Moon's got this covered.
Well, and that's what I was trying to get out of just, you know, the Arcanine, really good for scouting if this next turn gets you in a position to do anything on the offensive. It's always great to get the Intimidate and the Rocky Helmet damage, but I mean, Palafin's not really gonna come in very like excited to be there unless I'm wrong and it outspeeds, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't. You know, obviously Klefki can come in, but that's, unless we see a double switch here, it's kind of just taking Spike's damage and getting weaker and weaker. So I love this position for us. I don't see the vision for the opponent right now.
And it's really even tough for them to make the aggressive doubles because of all the hazards we have on the field now. I mean, Rotom and Iron Jugulis might be immune to it, but this Klefki, not going to be switching in more than one more time probably.
Well, at this point, the opponent has 3 Pokemon. 2 of them get decimated by hazards. As long as we can keep what we need to keep in the back to deal with Iron Jugulis, we are in a really, really exciting spot. I am a little interested to see what Glamora wants to throw at this Klefki now that we see the Magnet rise. This is going to be an interesting play. I mean,
Predicting the hard switch.
Well, I will say, more than likely in this matchup, Klefki is only running a Fairy-type move. If it has Steel coverage, good for it, but JJ definitely just expecting a switch there. I think a Power Gem was a lot safer, but Mortal Spin wouldn't have hurt to get a Poison on something in the back for sure.
He's bringing me a lot of confidence with just that very calm sip of the coffee as he stares across the field, not phased at all. Letting spikes go up for free.
Really banking on the switch here.
It's a little worrisome as we no longer have a Pokemon immune to spikes. So we have accepted spikes into our life. With open arms.
He's pretty set on this Mortal Spin.
Yeah, I'm unbuttoning my suit. I got really excited about the Flare Blitz. I feel like this is the opposite of that Flare Blitz excitement. It only feels right.
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he just misclicked 3 times in a row. That's all,
that's
guys.
what it was.
Don't worry about it.
There was something in his eye. Like he's blinking.
So this is really, really interesting because it's very clear that the opponent is getting spikes up to try to set up an Iron Jugulis or Palafin sweep, or just the combination of the two cleaning up in the end. But it doesn't feel like John Jr. is worried about that in the slightest. He felt content to go for Mortal Spin over and over again, trying to get the prediction right. I don't know. It's very interesting too, just because
Palafin doesn't have much left in the tank, does it?
No,
it does not.
If
it were to come in on this Glamora spiky shield after those spikes and poison, I'm pretty sure it's dead.
It's dead.
So the really interesting thing here, and I understand what he was trying to do is, okay, on the switch, get rid of the hazards, don't be worried about it, but it's very clear the opponent wants to sacrifice the Klefki.
Yeah, I think so both sides here, now that I see it more than often, he just, like you were saying, wants to punish a potential switch, and at the same time, after we just realized this Glamora deals with basically everything that he has left, just because of Spiky Shield, and then we have the Power Gem for the Jugulis. Reflect, I don't know how much that's going to come into play, with Glamora being able to do most of the work here towards the end.
Is there any coverage that Iron Jugulis could have that we would be worried about here? I'm not fully familiar with all the Gen 9 Pokemon and all their coverage options, but it's Scary hours for the opponent, very exciting for us. It comes down to the hummingbird.
Yeah, so I will say, after being so confident, this thing does get Earth Power. I remember that right now. So Power Gem was really only to force him not be able to hard switch, but since we did show Power Gem, he is forced to click Earth Power here. Spiky Shield, I guess, is a little free. I'm kind of questioning this because this could allow like a free substitute or Tailwind. We just see a hard Earth Power. Okay.
All right, this is really, really interesting to see now. Shimmy is going down very quickly. Tyler, who do you want to see? Oh,
I don't think there's
right
anything.
Now?
I don't know if we go to it right now, but I don't know that there's particularly anything for Bubby. I know Iron Jugulis has the flying moves, but between the stall that we can pull off, Palafin's all but dead. It can't do anything at this point. The aggressive play is something into Roaring Moon to try to handle the Iron Jugulis. But Bubby might just be the play here.
It depends on substitute. It was a really good call from Ben. Back in, the old Hydreigon days, or Hydreigon, however you say that stupid dragon's name.
Someone in the comments will let you know.
It's probably going to be M&J TV, and I welcome it. But there's a lot of sets, especially in draft. If you get substitute up, 3 attacks could do a lot of damage, maybe 2 attacks and roost. Obviously, this is a different Pokemon, but if you go for Protector Leech and they substitute, it gets scary, but instead it's the Hurricane you were talking about earlier, which is really exciting to see, as we could just kind of skedaddle into the old Torkoal machine, and even though that thing's going to go down, Iron Jugulis is kind of out of luck.
Yeah, I think you 100% sack the Torkoal here just to get up Sun and not allow it to click Hurricane. Or at least he forces him into a 50% chance of landing it. Because more than likely, I don't know if he has necessarily other coverage to hit the Roaring Moon pretty decently here.
And like it happened earlier with the opponent, you don't want to sacrifice Pokemon, but when you lose a Pokemon, it's the perfect opportunity to bring in the Pokemon that can gain momentum back for you. So even though they hit the Hurricane in the Sun, insanity. Actually, wait a minute, that's perfect, because now the Sun stays up longer. You fool.
And the Reflect just wore off. This is fantastic. Great play all around.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of damage from Spikes here. But it did get the speed boost, so this is going to be outspeeding our Roaring Moon, unfortunately. But if we take this hit, this thing's going to drop. Maybe this is where a Dragon type move would have been very good, JJ. Just throwing that out there.
Sounds like maybe an executive decision our head coach should have made.
No, if anything, it was going to be Earthquake over the Fire Fang. So I think now this is where Fire Fang is actually a little bit more helpful. And we see the Protect. This has just been made out for a very long game. Let's just say that.
It is really, really interesting to see the Protect there. I think it's a really good addition. I'm so glad it was Protect over Substitute, as that really could have changed the battle fully. But at this point, I don't see how Roaring Moon 1v1s it. I do see how it weakens it to a point where it's not going to take out the rest of the team. But then it might come down to Bubby, guys.
Yeah, and in that Sun, with the chance of Hurricane missing, it's looking pretty good for the old Bubster, I'll say. And I think good prep on our opponent's part. Protect was actually to protect itself from first impression on the Slitherwing, to where this thing could really just sweep in the endgame. So hopefully we can get this damage off here for Bubby, because more than likely we're dropping after 2 hits.
Maybe I just love electric types with speed too much, but I really wish we had a little Kilowattrel in our life, but maybe it doesn't matter.
Hey, no, it doesn't matter, because that oh my goodness, that did damage.
That did so much.
That Jugulis got the speed boost from Booster Energy, John.
Well,
so it'd be outspeeding Kilowattrel and killing it with Dark Pulse.
Nah, that's propaganda. You brought a specially defensive Kilowattrel. It was taking hits. We could have had a specially defensive one. I will not leave this hill. I will die here.
Okay,
but
guys,
also,
I might be wrong, but based off that damage, I feel like to kill Roaring Moon, it needs to go for Hurricane. I don't think the Earth Power did enough to kill here. I might be wrong. I don't have the math right off the top of my head.
Not gonna lie, I kind of missed the damage because I was just overwhelmed by someone whining in my ear. So
All right, there we go. Wave it all off. Wave it all off.
Does kill.
It was optimistic.
Yeah, I didn't really hear much of the whining. I just heard one commentator being bad at math, which is very awkward.
Man, we're just shots
There's
fired
a
here
reason
in the
we're
booth while
here.
JJ's fighting for his life.
Hey, the coach gets one opportunity to fire some shots back, and I welcome it with open arms. It's only fair, but at this point, could Bubby clean up the battle? I think the really interesting thing with Bubby is it's kind of become the mascot of the team. It's what everyone loves to see, and it feels like it's a joke.
What did you just? What?
No.
What did you just say?
No. Don't you misinterpret my words, sir. You close your beautiful lips over there and you let me continue. Bubby is not to be trifled with. Some people have slept on this thing. It's the joke Pokemon on Play More. No, it's our heart and soul. It's a Pokemon you have to prep for week in and week out. We may not bring it every time because you can't overuse the Bubster. Bubby right now is 2 for 2 for being a Pokemon the opponent was not ready to deal with. And I'm feeling really good about our chances because Dark Pulse is not taking the Bubster down. That's right.
Would be able to eat Dark Pulse from here. I'm pretty sure he's just protecting because it's absolutely free. Sun still had a few turns to where he still has the chance of, or forcing Hurricane to be 50% accurate, where our opponent really should not be clicking it. Like, Dark Pulse is a better chance to, like, just do the damage and potentially get that flinch. So
I got really greedy as soon as I saw Recover. I really wish he'd clicked it. It was not the correct play. He made the right play, but boy, would that make me feel a little better right now. Come on, Tyler, how much does this do? Wait!
Interesting.
Free kill for Bubby?
It kills. The
Yes,
math
but
checks
if this
out.
is the last-
It kills.
If this is the last turn of Sun, that's very scary for us because that Hurricane, 70% chance to hit now, not 50. So we'll see if the Sun stays up or not.
Well, if it does stay up for one more turn, as they protect, we go for the Recover, which probably puts us in the range to live a Hurricane with a Sliver?
I like the thought of a sliver. I'll take a sliver of apple pie. I mean, I'll take a W. Excuse me. Pardon.
I'm going to overlook you talking about eating Bubby, Ben. But I think, wow, I don't know if he meant to do this, but by not going for the Recover on the last Protect, leading them to go for the Protect here, giving us the free Recover, is so perfect. It's so beautiful. It comes down to this.
Bubby, do the thing.
Yeah! Bubby!
Bubby! The GOAT! Oh my God!
He's our GOAT!
Bang!
He's our GOAT!
Bang! Wow. Wow.
Whoever thought that Bubby needed to be benched should be fired.
Hey, let's calm down there. I'll lead the Ben roll in. I'm not leading you anywhere. I'll follow you into battle, sir. And
Yes, sir.
I must say, right now, what are we? 5-1 at the top of the standings, or at least in one of the top 2 positions. And if the season ended today, that would be a first round bye. Now, we can't guarantee that production moving forward, but Ben, I'm proud of what you've been able to do, and I am so excited to see what you do next. But instead of an interview with the coach this week, just go to John Jr.'s channel and watch his commentary of the battle. For right now, I just want to ask you guys to leave some questions for me, Tyler, and Ben to answer as we're halfway through the season, a little bit over halfway, and we want to hear what you guys are saying, hear what you guys are thinking, and talk with you guys a little bit more about Play More and Bubby. So until next week.